MRI.
Do we want to do the intro?
Sure.
Yeah, play, kick it,
Sounds
kick
good.
that band. Let's get that
Hit it.
band going. Sorry, Susan.
Oh, no
My
problem.
language.
Ladies
It's a
and
one.
gentlemen,
I've heard it all before.
Boom,
movies with Mark.
boom, 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 boom. And the movie with Mark, that's me. This is Susan down here, and that's Molly, and that's Tom, and that's William. The movie today is, yes, wave to the children, ladies and gentlemen, is Dog Day Afternoon. And what is a Dog Day Afternoon?
I
Does
knew
anybody know?
it was. I knew because of the band Three Dog Night, it had to do with temperature.
Yeah, it's
There's
so
a
hot even a
three-dog night.
dog wouldn't. Yeah.
Dogs of summer.
Dogs of summer. A 3-dog night is it's so cold you had to bring 3 of the huskies in to keep the house warm. So it was
Exactly
a 3-dog
right.
night. So I knew it had something to do Dog Day Afternoon. I figured a hot afternoon.
Very good. That's exactly what it means. Those are the dog days of summer. The hot days where the dogs just lie around on the concrete and try to stay cool. Yeah. And it's summer in this movie when it takes place, and it's about a bank robbery, which is so exciting because we see so many movies about bank robberies and so many movies with people with guns, and it just excites us. Because do you know how many movies there are made about bank robberies, heists, all
Every
that?
other.
We
There's-
Americans love that shit.
Oh yeah.
This one's a little different though, because these guys are kind of desperate klutzes.
Yeah.
But it's not written out. It's not performed as a comedy. But that opening, the opening credit sequence with all those shots in New York just makes my heart happy because I lived in New York all at that time. It takes
Mine
place
too. Gritty New York. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the Elton John song too. It just fits so well.
Yeah, no, it's really perfect. And the movie overall is just so well put together. My
Yeah.
brother thinks that Sidney Lumet is the greatest filmmaker of all time. And I watch a movie like this and I think he might be right. And I watch a movie like Until the Devil Knows You're Dead, and with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Ethan Hawke, and I think he might be right. And I watch The Verdict, and I think he might be right. But he
12
might be
Angry
right.
Men.
Which one?
12 Angry Men.
Yes, 12 Angry Men, going way back to 12 Angry Men. Yes, good for you. All right, I'm glad you brought Susan today. Yeah, 12 Angry Men is brilliant, based on a really good play, but tremendous performances and all different performances like in this. I mean, Al Pacino is the main bank robber, and John Cazale is his partner. And they're it says Al Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon in the credits, so he's the star. But everybody, those women in that bank are so phenomenal. From Marcia Jean Kurtz, who plays the one with the big curly hair, who I can't remember what her name is, and is always dancing and having a great time and chewing gum
Mary?
and
There
gets
was
in
a
the limo
Mary.
at the end. Huh?
Was that Mary was the one that was in the bathroom and they didn't find
Maria,
her?
That's right.
Maria.
That's Maria. I think she's Miriam. And she
always
dances
does
with
this.
Maria,
She's
too.
supposed to take 5 minutes. So the head teller's bitching about her taking too long a break, which take time out from the bank robbery and being a hostage and bitch about her. I love that part. I love so much about this movie.
There's so many great touches all the way through, and most of them come from people like Mouth, and it was Penny Allen, I think, plays the Mouth. Is that
I
right?
didn't recognize.
What?
I was saying I didn't recognize Al Pacino in this. Tom was like Al Pacino, and I was like,
wow.
what? I didn't.
Well, you
didn't-
you kids today probably only know Al Pacino from.
That's how he used to
Dr.
look.
Kevorkian
I know.
when he's an old guy. I mean, he was a
Yeah.
hair actor back then. He's a hair actor now, and he was a hair actor back then. You know, his hair is always, he always has lots of hair, and it's always perfect.
Yeah.
You know him from Scent of a Woman, but when he was a kid, when he was young, I think they made this in
75.
71.
1975.
75, and it was the actual bank robbery occurred in 72.
72, right? I knew that. I remembered that, but I couldn't remember. I auditioned for it and I almost got it. It was like down to me. I thought I was going to get it to play the FBI guy.
Oh wow.
Oh, that
And
would
they
have been cool.
decided to go. They decided to go with somebody older, Jimmy Broderick, who a year later played my father in Long Day's Journey into Night at Arena Stage in Washington, D.C. So it was
Oh,
really,
wow.
so I know these women. I know Penny, I think her name's Penny Allen, who plays Mouth, the head teller, who's so great
I
all the
loved
way
her.
through. She's
She was
tremendous.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because he tried to pull her out, like, oh, let her stay. She
you're
goes,
already out.
no, I'm
Yeah.
going back.
My
Those are
girls are in
girls."
here. My girls are in
Right.
here. I'm staying.
Right.
Yeah. No.
And then
It's
the other
if there's-
girl, the one always chewing the gum, she tripped me out. It's like
Is-
you're being robbed. You got to go open the thing, and she's chomping on the gum. I just loved it. Just had that whole feel, that New York thing.
Yeah, no, I mean everybody's an individual, everybody's a little bit eccentric, but you just see
Carol
their
Kane.
characters so clear. Squirrel, Carol Kane.
Squirrel, yeah, squirrel.
Who-
Was
The
that
way he
the
said,
one-
"What is
Like,
this, a
doesn't he-
squirrel?"
his nickname
Learning
for
how
a
to do the
squirrel?
gun tricks.
I don't
What?
remember if she was
The
one
girl
of
who was doing the rifle.
She was
spinning?
hiding under the desk. What is
He
this?
was hiding under
squirrel?
the desk
And
at
he
the
pulls her
beginning.
up. No, the thing I like the best is when she got the phone call from her
Right.
selfish man, and she's like, "Well, he wants to know what time will be done."
What time are
And
you going to be
Pacino
done?
says, "Oh, girlie, please." I
Yeah.
use that line all the time. "Oh, girlie, please." Love it.
But that's what's so wonderful about the film. Excuse me. All the way through is that there's that kind of humanity from even from the bank robbers who aren't steely and
Mhm.
icy-eyed, like the guy at the end, Lance Hendrickson, who's steely and icy-eyed all the time in this, but in everything he does, who plays the FBI guy who is the
Mhm.
driver, who I'm going to do a spoiler here, but who shoots Sal at the end, I believe, if I
Yeah.
remember. I haven't gotten to that part, but I think that's how it ends. That Sal
Yeah.
dies. doesn't he? Yeah. But there's just so much humanity. Your husband calls in the
Mhm.
middle of bank robbery, and Al Pacino's character said, "Wait, you better talk to your husband," because that's what he would do. He would want to be able
Right,
to talk
let's-
to his wife, and he talks to his wife, to both his wives, and sends a little writes a will for them.
Hmm.
I mean, he has
Yeah.
two wives, one a man and one a woman. And that's why he's doing the bank robbery, because he can't get a job. And the other thing they add in that's this wonderful layer that's not really leaned into, but the fact that he's a Vietnam vet. It took place, like
Mhm.
Susan says, in 1972. Vietnam wasn't even actually over yet, but he was back. He was a vet. Vets were coming back, and they had nowhere to go. Everybody here hated
Yeah.
them
Molly and I
because they
Didn't
baby
know
killers.
that big left turn was coming. We thought that the guy was part of the distraction at first.
Oh, yeah, the wife.
Yeah, the wife.
Leon.
We thought he was
Leon.
part of in on it because it seemed
Leon.
kind of like he was playing like a.
Yeah, we never saw that coming.
Man, he was
Yeah.
in a mental hospital. I mean, he
Right.
fainted. I mean, he was
Yeah.
great in that part.
Every guy
Yeah.
in this movie was so sick, sickly. That guy's
So-
Was
fainting.
so
Two
sick.
of the
Did you say
hostages
sick?
had to be hauled out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
The
yeah,
fellow,
had
the bank,
diabetes,
the
the one
bank
had,
manager with the heart
asthma.
condition.
Oh, and the bank manager is great. Molly, who plays the bank manager? I keep thinking Sully Boyer, but I think it is Sully. But he's
don't know
great.
who
Yeah,
did
with
it.
he's got diabetes, and he's
Yeah.
another one who's so, I mean, human. He wants, he just wants.
And he
the
and he
thing to go
says to him, he
smoothly
goes,
and be
"Fucker,
done.
hey, that guy, I bark, he bites." And then the head teller says, "Hey, you can watch your language. You got young girls here." And he goes, "I say what I feel. Empty out the drawer."
This
And
was
then
based on
but language is so great about it because everybody tries to watch their language, and then later, the bank manager apologizes for using the F word when he
Mhm.
really lost it, and when after his diabetic attack, and he gets the doctor comes in there. I know that guy too, Philip Charles McKenzie. I did my first
We'll
professional
share the
job with him.
screen. You can see
Yeah, he came out and apologized for using language.
Yeah.
anybody make
And
out?
they're like, "What?" They didn't even notice.
Mulvaney, Sully
Oh,
Boyer.
yeah, who plays
It is
Mulvaney?
Sully Boyer.
It is Sully Boy. Okay,
Charles
I was right.
Durning was great too. That was another
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
the
Charlie
police-
Durning was so great. And he kind
Yeah.
of disappears when it starts getting going. But he's so great at the beginning. And again,
Yeah.
not your typical stereotypical idiot New York cop. He's he's a
Everyone.
smart guy. He's careful. He's trying to do his job. He wants to make everybody calm down.
Safe,
But he's
yeah.
great. He's great all the way
Everyone
through.
was
And that's, I think, one of the things. You were nodding your head when I was talking about my brother. I think Sidney Lumet is so good. But it's one of the things that Sidney Lumet always does is he always gets really great, detailed, non-performer type performances from his actors. I mean, they're not showy. I mean, we remember Miriam, Marcia Jean, because she's in the background of so many pictures, just doing something like when the TV camera is on Sunny, and she's in the back and she kind of waves and she's excited. She's excited to be on TV. I know what that feels like. It's just, I don't know. I see a movie like this and I think, well, what else? I just watched something on, I can't even remember. A Liam Neeson movie. As much fun as it is to watch Liam Neeson beat up everybody and always win at the end, it's really great to watch a movie that's about real people. I mean, human beings who are, I'm going to use bad language now, who are screw ups. I won't use language. That's not a bad language, is it?
Insert bad language.
I don't want to have to go off in the corner like Mr. Mulvaney did. But they're just really great performances, and the script is so fine-tuned. The story is good. I mean, it's a story that's interesting. It's a story that we haven't necessarily heard before, because I don't know that anybody had made a movie yet at this time in 75 that had as much kind of overlapping, Altman had probably done it, had as much overlapping dialogue, had as much kind of authenticity about what's happening without looking like, it looks like a movie. It doesn't look like a documentary, but the people are behaving in very natural, very real ways all the time.
Right.
I don't see any performances where anybody's sort of, I mean, Pacino a little bit, just because the camera finds him and the camera wants to find him, and Lumet and everybody knows that most of the people are going to be going to the movie because they want to see the guy who played Michael Corleone.
Yeah.
He'd already played Michael Corleone, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted to
He'd
see
already
what
played-
he
yeah.
could do. But
And he was great.
oh, he really is good. He's good. And what do you think of John Cazale?
Amazing.
Very understated but emotional performance. Yeah.
Oh
He's
yeah,
played a bad guy in a lot of stuff, right?
Eh,
yeah. When he's Freddie or Fredo in
Fredo, yeah.
Godfather, but he's a weak bad guy. What's
He's a
great
weak
about
bad
him,
guy,
he
yeah.
always plays a weak guy. In The Deer Hunter, he's the weak guy. He doesn't go
Deer
to
Hunter.
war, and Fredo is kind of weak and bad because he makes bad decisions. But Sal, as soon as the Matthew Broderick, not Matthew Broderick's fights, Jimmy Broderick, the FBI
That's
guy,
his son,
sees
yeah.
him, he says, and he takes Sonny aside and says that kind of oblique thing. Don't worry about Sal. We'll take care of Sal, because he recognizes that Sal is the danger point,
Yeah.
the violent point.
He's the loose cannon. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
What, you think
uh,
I'd sell him out? You
now,
think I'd sell him out? You fuck.
Al Pacino had to fight to get that character portrayed by
John Cazale.
Cazale's. Yeah.
Did he really?
Because the original character was somebody who was only like 18 or 19 years old, and they wanted somebody younger. But he fought to get John Cazale's in the part, and they said that they couldn't imagine anybody else playing the role.
No, it's impossible. I didn't know that. That's impossible for me to think of somebody else playing it. It's like it is
Yeah.
him. But it's interesting how I was in New York. I never knew John, but I knew Meryl, and Meryl Streep lived with him through the last part of his life. And everybody who worked with him or worked near him loved John Cazale. And I don't think he was sick yet. I don't know. There's a movie that they didn't want him on because he was sick. He died of cancer, and he took quite a while, a couple of years to die of cancer. And another movie that they didn't want him on because they weren't sure that he would live through to the end. And
Wasn't
I
that
can't
the
remember.
Deer Hunter?
That might be the Deer Hunter.
Yeah, because I think Meryl Streep threatened to pull out if they released him from the movie.
That's
And
right.
she made sure that he stayed in that movie.
Yeah, as again, Merrill was making sure that he stays there, and this time Al Pacino made sure that he was in it.
Mhm.
Yeah, because and people knew. I mean, that's the thing about really good actors actors are very, very competitive. I mean, the English say acting is a blood sport because it is, because you'll take down your competition if you can. I mean, you won't shove them in front of a bus. Well, maybe if it's a small bus and they'll just be hurt. You don't want to kill anybody. But actors are really so generous and they recognize great talent. And Cazale just is a great talent. Everything he does, and there isn't very much. It's like I think it's maybe one more film than James Dean did. James Dean did what, 3 films, and Cazale did Dog Day,
Godfather 1 and 2,
Godfather 1 and
Deer
2,
Hunter,
and what
Deer
was the one you
Hunter.
just
The Deer Hunter,
Deer Hunter?
and I think there
And
was one other one.
there is one other one,
think there
but
were
I don't
5.
know what it is.
There's a documentary on him, and they just talk about
Yeah.
every movie that he's been in. It's been a blockbuster.
Yeah, yeah, and not a blockbuster that you could see becoming a blockbuster out of the gate. It's really a blockbuster because it's a good movie. I mean, because it's well made and because there's just, yeah, yeah. I know I think he was the heart and soul of a lot of what he did, of those things that he did.
The
Excuse me.
Conversation.
Yep, I got the
The
conversation.
conversation. Yep.
Oh, The
Arizona
Conversation.
Dream.
Yeah, that's another good movie. What's another one? A Conversation. Is there
Arizona
another?
Dream. Arizona Dream.
Oh, I don't think I know that one. I should look at that.
Wow. I don't think I know it either.
Yeah. I'll have
But
to
you were
look that
talking
up
about they
there.
wanted a younger guy. They did have the third guy was a real young guy.
I thought that was
Yeah.
fun, but like he
He
was.
was
I
from
don't.
Jaws too.
I'm
I
getting
don't-
really bad
Yeah.
vibes. Sonny.
I don't feel good about this. Well, then you can leave. That was.
Man,
Yeah.
Don't take
Yeah.
the keys. He goes, how am I going to get home? He goes, take the keys. Give us the keys. You're going to
How am I
leave
gonna
with
get
the
home,
getaway
Sonny?
car.
I liked that
Take the
part.
subway.
This was a dark comedy to me. I laughed so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Like, hey, Sonny. Yeah, it's right in the middle of everything going down. The news said 2 homosexuals were in here.
Right.
And I'm like,
Makes
Right.
sense.
he's
Tell
like,
Tell him that.
tell him it's
Yeah. It's
I'm
not-
not.
That's Sal's only request, right, to the FBI
Yeah.
guy. Make
And
him
he
stop
wanted to go to
saying there's 2
Wyoming. He
homosexuals.
said, any country in the world you want to go to.
I want to go to
He said, I
Wyoming.
want to go to Wyoming.
Right.
He ad libbed that. He
Did he?
ad
Oh, he
libbed.
did?
Yeah, he ad libbed that. And they say Sidney Lumet almost ruined the scene laughing. He had to cover his mouth and decided to keep it in because he thought it was perfect response.
Oh, him saying Wyoming wasn't in the script.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I
funny.
didn't know that.
I wonder
Wyoming.
what was in the script, what he actually said in the script.
Yeah.
Because he
But
mentions it to Leon.
imagine,
He goes, "You
imagine
think
what
you got
Pacino, who's
problems?"
on screen with him when he says that, and he hears him say that, and Pacino doesn't crack up. He just sits there and
No.
listens. It's not a
Consummate
country.
act.
It's-
Yeah.
it's-
That's funny.
yeah.
Well,
Hey.
this is based on a true story, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a
based on a
true-
real thing, true thing. Yeah, and it was happened right after. And it was 72, so I can't remember when Attica was, but the whole prancing up and down in front of, doing his Mick Jagger in front of the
Mhm.
crowd. Attica, Attica.
You got it,
Yeah.
man.
Attica was huge in New York at that time.
Yeah.
The crowd was all in with him too.
Oh,
I mean,
well,
they
that's-
were all in.
I
yeah,
mean, how
that-
many people
That's the
they
other
had
great
surrounding
New
that
York
bank?
thing that's kind of sick too, is that the crowd loves the underdog. The crowd loves the
Mhm.
robber. The crowd loves the guy that the cops are after.
Or one of my favorite scenes in there when they bring in pizza and he's going to use the money that he stole from
Yeah.
the bank to pay for the pizza, and the cops say it's taken care
Oh,
of.
no,
He
we
goes,
got it.
"No, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me the
I
mark
got that.
bills.
Yeah.
Throw the money to the crowd.
That's right. So he throws it. Yeah. Yeah. No, he wants to do everything right. He was a well brought up guy. His mom is great. Who plays his mom? Judith Malina, right? Who's got
She
that
was
cast
great
list
though.
up there?
You know who the dad was?
Yes.
Dominic Chinese,
Dominic
Uncle
Chinese,
Junior.
right. Yeah.
Way back because I noticed the voice, and because
Oh,
when I
yeah.
had seen it before, I didn't know I had not seen The Sopranos, and then I heard the voice. I was like, is that Dominic Chinese? Because he just had a short part. He goes, yeah, why rob a bank when your mother's a sucker? And I was like, that is, and I looked him up. I'm like, Dominic Chinese, man.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Judith Molina was the mother.
Yeah, and all he's got is that one scene where he's sitting watching TV and just hunched over. Yeah,
I mean, great casting.
Mhm.
Seriously.
great cast all the way down the line, and everybody gives a really great performance. Nobody's looking for more. Nobody's looking to try to make a joke out of something that's not a joke. Everybody just playing it straight.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Mhm.
It's
movie
really
was
good. Good
refreshing.
work.
It was
good-
different.
Huh?
I said this movie was refreshing. It was different, and it really brought you into like the story and seemed.
And think about it, for 1975, it was dealing with transgender
Yes.
issues.
Which was
I mean, it
unheard of
was-
back then.
Right, exactly.
And they
Um,
seemed
Yeah.
fairly
No, that
accepting in the
it was
movie
that was
for the most
outrageous. It
part.
was even more outrageous
That time.
then, obviously, than it is now, and
Yeah.
and hard to, and surprising to buy when you realize that that's what Sonny, that's what he's doing there. Is he's doing it
Right.
to get the operation for his
Right.
lover, for his wife.
It was
yeah.
it was confusing to me because he did have a wife and kids as well, and they'd showed her before, and then he's talking about bringing my wife in. They're like, we got your wife, and then this guy comes out, and I was like, wait, what is going on? Like,
Well,
it was very odd
Can
and
you,
unexpected.
can you
for that
imagine being
time.
married to Susan Peretz too, the woman who plays his
Yeah.
wife?
Oh
with
my
two kids?
gosh,
She
Yeah,
was
listen.
so New York. She never shut up. He's like, will you
Never shut up. She
Listen.
never gave him a chance to say anything.
You see, that's it right there. And you said, get on the right, you fucking pig.
And
Oh,
what did she
so
name her kids? She named her kids, and she named them. And he said, "Oh, sure, that's all right." Minnie and Timmy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Timmy are his kids' names. No, she's hysterical too. She's hysterical.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
agree.
It's
The
a dark.
fact that
It's a
they
dark
touched
comedy.
on-
If you need to put it on the shelf somewhere in the video store, it's a dark
But
comedy.
I love the
'cause
mom too. She's like, run. Where the fuck am I gonna run to, man? There's 10,000 fucking cops around. Maybe you can like just
I wish somebody had that cast, but I think the woman who plays the mom is Judith Molina,
yeah, she
Yes,
is. He
it
looked
is.
it up.
who was married to Julian Beck, and Julian Beck and Judith Molina had a company called the Living Theater in New York that was one of the early and most successful of the really sort of avant-garde below 14th Street theaters. And they did some puppet stuff, and they did lots of things, and they were really leaders in it, and they stayed together and kept it going for a long time. And this was back in the late 60s, 70s, when New York theater was really experimenting in every direction they could think of. And it's fun to see Judith Molina, who is a pretty off the walls actress, being an off the walls actress, but so inside the ballpark in this one. I mean, in that part, in that long scene that's just a shot, it's a medium shot, medium close up, dirty of over his shoulder of her, and it's just her face for I don't know however long she goes on talking about it. Doesn't even cut
The
away.
other thing with this movie, so since they had the dog day afternoon, it's a hot day, the air conditioning inside the bank breaks, so they're
Right.
all just
I
dying,
thought they
sweating.
turned it off the electricity or something. I
Yeah.
suspected
Phone
that
was
they,
working though, right?
the phone's not electric.
No?
No.
Okay.
You can still make a phone call if you have no electricity. I thought they had cut out.
Well, I
the
know they were
electricity.
watching
They might have,
TV
Yeah.
or something.
but I guess what I just was thinking was how uncomfortable it must have been to shoot a lot of those scenes with. They must have had to like spray them down with,
They probably spritzed them down, or they may have just let them. They're all studio actors, most of them, so they might have said,
Right.
just said, no, I just make it hot in here, let us sweat.
Actually, I
Sure.
can tell you a story about the sweat. Sidney Lumet on his 12 Angry Men, they were in a room where they were, and he came up with a concoction that was glycerin
Right.
and water. And that's what they used on this one too, because the regular stuff for sweat wouldn't have lasted as long as they
Right.
needed it to. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Sidney Lumet had a concoction with glycerin that he used for sweat.
Well,
My contribution.
No, that's good. That's a great story. And he may have created it, but I've used glycerin lots and lots of movies, they use glycerin nowadays, and have, as long as I've been doing it, 50 years now. They use glycerin in water because exactly right. It doesn't, water just evaporates and then it's gone, and you got to constantly be jumping in there. But the glycerin makes it hold and glisten, and lots of times when people have to cry and they can't get a tear up, that's a glycerin tear too. They just squeeze it in your eye and then jump out of the way and say action, and you cry. But yeah, so they did spritz them down. They had to spritz them down because they were so hot all the time. Yeah. Did anyone else have any problems buying Pacino as the lover of Chris Sarandon?
Mm-mm.
No?
And I thought
No.
Chris Sarandon was great too.
Yeah, he's great too. This is the first time anybody saw him, I think.
Yeah.
We saw his ex-wife on Rocky Horror Picture Show. We went and saw it. Tom had never seen it. We went and saw
really?
it at the West Bend Theater midnight movie
For
for Halloween. We had a blast. So Susan Sarandon, she's 75 now. She was great in that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It was.
But
Did
yeah,
everybody?
Chris
Does everybody,
Sarandon-
when you saw it, does everybody throw toast when they say toast, and they do the whole?
No.
thing?
Not this time, but
They
We
didn't
had
have
we had
rice.
balloons and cards and a lot of. They had like a little bag of things.
It was like a janitor approved bag.
It's an old theater. It's the original theater downtown West Bend, but they've completely remodeled it, and they've got a brand new screen. And so they didn't want people throwing the rice and the toast, and they had a list of things that were approved.
Okay.
They didn't want anything damaging their screen.
They don't want to trash their newly renovated.
Yeah.
I only saw it once at the 8th Street Cinema in New York on 8th Street of all places, with a crowd, and that was early on. It was back when they did all that all the time. I'm sure a lot of theaters who used to do that, and had to pay overtime for people to come in and sweep the theater out, are probably doing.
They used to show it at the Oriental in Milwaukee, like every weekend.
Every weekend, and then he did it once a month. My son was part of the cast, but they would act it out while the movie was going.
Oh, while
on.
the movie is going on. Oh yeah. Anyway, enough about that. So
Back to Dog Day Afternoon. And well, Chris Sarandon, just the part that he played, this wreck of a person. But that was the dude. I don't know if y'all saw Fright Night. That was the badass vampire from Fright Night. Same guy.
Oh.
Same guy.
Did you ever see that one? The one with Roddy McDowell?
I don't think so.
You have to check that
He was
out.
also in Princess Bride.
And he's
What?
Oh, yeah, he was the prince.
He's the prince. He's the guy with
Yeah.
6 fingers, isn't he?
Oh.
Yeah,
I love
Look,
that
fingered
movie.
man.
We're dying here. We're dying. What you got for us? So, you say that every day of your life, you're dying. You're not dying. You're killing everyone around you. I just love the dialect, just between them.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
You know what I noticed in that dialect? And I laughed my ass off, but they didn't tell this joke.
Are you saying
When he was
dialect or
reading-
dialogue?
dialogue.
Dialogue.
When he was reading the will, like the sex change cost $2,000, right?
That was
27.
25,
$2,700.
Yeah.
20 or $2,000. He's like
2,700. Yeah.
2,700.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave you this, and he kind of gave like a more money and like get a nice one or something. Like it was.
Yeah.
Don't go cheap.
Yeah. Right. That's nice. Don't you think that's nice?
Yeah.
And then
Here's
he's
the
gonna.
extra.
Oh yeah.
He wanted
He
to
only
invite him
had a $10,000 life insurance policy,
Yep.
and he had 2 kids. He wanted
him
to leave
come
money to his
Algeria
kids.
with him. Why do you want to go to Algeria? The people, they run around, they wear masks, they wear things on their head. They're a bunch of crazy people, said the crazy person. I think I could just do the whole movie. I'm serious. I love that movie.
Yeah. So you've seen it several times then.
It's in my top 10 of all time.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's right. It was you. You were the one that recommended it. That's
I
good.
did.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a great movie. I forget from time to time how much wonderful detail there is all through it in every frame, and how unselfconscious it is. And police procedure is good and screwed up. The cops constantly, every time they see the bad guy, they pull their guns and
Put
Tell
your
them to put their guns
Put
down.
their guns out.
Put your guns down. He wants to shoot me so bad he can taste it. Attica!
Attica!
Well, you mentioned, I think Tom mentioned earlier the scene where they're teaching one of the women how to she's like messing with the rifle.
Yeah.
She's like,
Oh, right.
He's doing
That
army
was the
drills
woman
with
the
her.
gun.
Miriam.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
taught her how to
Miriam's
do
doing
the-
that.
she's doing tricks
Yeah.
with the gun, and it's like,
got
what?
the
In
gun.
what other scenario would they ever have hostages playing with the guns?
Well, that's what Mark said about the humanity in the movie. Like,
Yeah, they all become
a lot
the
of that
same.
shines through.
All right.
What
we're
do they
all
call
going to
that?
the bathroom.
Stockholm
Everybody's gonna go to the
syndrome.
bathroom. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
it-
Now
it's-
they all want to go.
Stockholm.
Here's your bathroom. He gives a waste paper. I can't be locked up. I'm gonna have to use the toilet. She said. Oh, they see now they all want to go.
Of course. And even Sal, who's grumpy from the beginning, who doesn't want them all to go to the bathroom, he just wants to get. Let's just kill them. Let's kill them all and get
Right.
out of here. He's patient. I mean, he lets them be humans. And the Marcia Jean, the woman who's playing with the rifle, it's the adventure of her life.
Mhm.
How about
and
this?
what?
How about the scene with Sal when she wants to smoke a cigarette, and he goes on about you're killing yourself. That's such an interesting scene right there.
Yeah.
They want to murder all these folks, the hostages, anyways, and he's getting on her case about smoking because
About
the chance is,
smoking.
yeah.
I
Well, they
know.
wanted
Yeah.
he said, "Hey, remember you said if we don't get away clean, what we would do, that we would kill each other. You still going to
Right.
do that?" And I
Yeah.
don't think he wanted to do that, but Sal wanted to stick with it.
Well, he didn't want to
Yeah.
go. He didn't want
Oh,
to go
Sal-
back.
Sal-
Sal
back
wants to
didn't wanna
die
go to
from the
prison.
beginning.
Yeah.
He got his wish.
He had
Yeah.
the least amount of lines out of everyone. He just sat there, for most of the movie with holding the gun.
Yeah.
That expression on his face every time that the camera was on him was like,
And the deeper they get into it, and the more Sonny starts to try to convince him that we're doing this, the blanker and blanker his
Yeah.
face gets. He's just
Just-
listening to Sonny as though, who is this guy? He's my friend, but he's just talking. He's talking.
Mhm.
He's talking. All he's doing is talking.
he's just realizing that he's not getting out of this. I think he's
Well,
yeah.
slowly coming to the acceptance that he's gonna
What-
die.
What
I think
really
the
made me
discovery
laugh
that Cazale made is that I think a discovery that people make when they play Romeo and Romeo and Juliet too is that from the beginning of the movie, Romeo wants to die, and from the beginning of this movie, Sal just wants to die. I mean, what else is he doing there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a conscious thought. That's an unconscious, a tertiary motivation, as we say in the business.
Well, the scene where he's standing there holding the box that looks like a box of flowers, and when he pulls the gun out and he's fumbling around and the box is stuck on the gun, it makes me laugh every time.
It made me
It's
laugh.
hysterical.
because he was just out scrambling around.
Well,
It just
And
Like,
you know
he's
what?
really having trouble.
wasn't smooth. I'll tell you that.
And what makes it, I think what makes it really, really good is the fact that Lumet stays back with the camera. And when he really gets tangled up in the box, he's almost hidden behind the
The
desk
counter.
or whatever it is,
Mhm.
the thing in the bank. So
counter, yeah.
lots of filmmakers would have come in close on that because they would have thought, this is hysterical. The audience is going to love this. But he keeps it back. So it maintains the comedy of him, because it's so slow and so deliberate, and then suddenly it's get out of here,
Mhm.
and it's so
These
frantic.
spazzes.
So it maintains that comedy, but it also means the threat of the real, because suddenly now
Mhm.
Sal's already pulled a gun on Mr. Mulvaney, but now this man who sort of hits his edge really quickly because he's calm, and then he can't.
Maybe that's what scared Stevie away. Like, I can't do this now. He's off
Getting
the
a really
deep end.
bad vibe, man.
He's all
Take-
tangled in the box. I gotta go.
Stevie
No,
was
Yeah.
it was
his name?
before the.
Oh, that was.
It was before because he's like, I'm gonna go. He goes, he's already got the gun out.
Yeah.
He's got it on the banister.
Right,
He
we can't-
still had it. He
Oh,
didn't open it yet. Yeah.
Well, and
No.
they didn't do their research ahead of time either, because they opened the vault and they had just come like earlier that day or
Right.
the week and
Well, that
emptied
guy
it.
downtown gave him the wrong information.
Mhm.
What was his name?
Right.
And she goes, what is he? Some kind of mastermind? Somebody downtown said that it would be full.
Yeah,
So what
some
was there in
guy
the vault? It was
downtown
like
that they talked to.
$1,100
That told, yeah, sent him out to
$1,100 in the
Brooklyn to
vault.
rob a bank.
Somebody had to tip him off. There's no way the cops got there that quick.
Yeah, the guy across the street when they saw the freaking smoke
Yeah.
coming up, when they're burning the register like an idiot.
Oh.
And then they were talking about the traveler's checks. That's what they were burning the register so they couldn't track them. Traveler's checks. Boy, that was a long time ago.
Why didn't he just take the register
Yeah.
with him instead of burning it? Like, just
Yeah,
take it.
I thought at first he was going to tuck it in his pants and take it with him, and then he burns
Right.
it. But it's just because he knows so much. He worked as a bank teller, and he knows so much
Mhm.
about the operation of a bank. And one of the things he knows is you got to burn that register, because then the traveler's checks are all. But yeah, but it's the big mistake, because yeah, that's what the insurance guy across the street sees. And almost by the time the insurance guy is gone, the cops have been tipped off. I mean, we don't know how
Right.
much time, but suddenly in that barber shop across the street, we see Charles Durning and Jimmy Broderick's face.
And Durning says to
Waiting.
him, do you always have to keep looking over my shoulder? He's like, yeah.
No, it's really. I thank you, William, for suggesting it. I'm glad I'd seen it just sometime in the last year, but it was great to see it again. And it's one of those ones that you should watch fairly frequently, just to remind yourself what that really good naturalistic acting is all about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're going to
And
be
it's
the
really-
veterans of a bank robbery. Do you know they send you a dozen roses?
Right. He
We
did his
can't, like,
research.
we don't want to hurt anybody, but we're veterans. The way he said things, it was just so Brooklyn, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
it was the comedy was so natural in this. Like, there's lots of movies where you can tell that stuff was, written in to be, insert laugh here. But this was just, it was funny, but it was so like kind of subtly and like naturally funny.
Yeah. He never stops for the laugh. He never stops and sets it up and gives it to you. It just keeps moving like life does. Even when it's
Yeah.
boring and you're just sitting around sweating and waiting for pizza to arrive or waiting for your limo to
Mhm.
arrive. It keeps moving. People keep doing things, playing with guns and learning to march, learning to
Mhm.
drill.
Yeah.
That is, I had forgotten. I remember seeing it, but I'd forgotten how strange and unusual that is when she picks up the gun and starts to do the
Kick it.
do
Spinning
it
do
around.
marching drills with it.
Yeah.
I know. She must have been. Maybe she was a cheerleader or something back in high school.
Oh yeah.
Color
don't-
guard.
color
Color guard.
guard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it. Well, shall we rate it? Shall we go around the horn and
Yes,
rate it?
let's do it.
Sure.
William, we know what you're going to say, but talk about it for a minute. About how old were you when you first saw this movie?
I first saw it, I think I was a teenager. If it came out in 75, I must have been 17. I saw it in the theater, and I remember people laughing at the gun episode. And when he pulled the gun out of there,
Right.
and people were laughing. But like 75, I saw it at the theater, and I've
Right.
seen it at least once a year since then.
Everything.
It's
good.
one of my top movies. Like I said, from the start with the Elton John song and just
Yeah.
showing the different scenes of people going about their day in New York. And it just kind of like brings you right there. It
Yeah.
takes you there.
And
You're
there was a garbage strike in New York around that time too. And I
Mhm.
think there's that big Doberman is rooting through garbage, and he puts that in there just for as a little local color.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I give it a 5, of course.
Yeah, of course. Good. Tom.
I gotta go and give it a 5 too. I thought it was funny, and I was a little worried because I was laughing at parts that Molly wasn't really laughing at, but I thought were way funnier. And I'm like, is it supposed to be funny? Am I supposed?
It's based on a true story.
So I'm glad that everybody agreed it was a comedy and it was funny, because I was kind of feeling a little like, oh man, I'm laughing at bad stuff. But I like the dark comedy humor, and I'm sure if I watch it again, I'll dig up more little
I
nuggets.
wouldn't consider it a comedy. Would you call it a comedy?
I don't think of it as a comedy, because I think of what Will Ferrell does as comedy. What
Right.
I
Animal
was
House
thinking
is
dark
a
comedy.
But
Well,
it's
Tom
a
also
it's a
thinks
dark
he's a
comedy. It's a
comedian.
dramedy. I think they call them
Dramedy? Okay. I know there was comedy in there. I recognize comedy when I see it.
dramedy. Well, if you're laughing, it's a comedy, right?
I was laughing.
Yeah.
And no one else was laughing.
No one else was laughing.
Were you moved at the end?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I liked it.
You were moved. Okay, good. You
No,
liked
I
the way
really
they-
enjoyed the movie all the way through. Because when we first started watching it, you put it on and we're like, 2 hours and 9 minutes. This better be good, Will.
The people that were staying behind that were going to be getting on the jet with him were like kind of excited to go on a vacation. They were like,
I know.
I
it
was like, are
a-
they letting him go? Can this still work?
Yeah.
Is this how they deal with
They
hostages?
were like, never been on a, never been to. This will be
Algeria.
nice.
Algeria. Ugh, sounds awful.
Yeah.
Pinot,
So
they wrote it
Algeria.
down, they have
Algeria. I want
masks,
that's why
they
do you
would
think
think on
they
their
chose
head.
Algeria?
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. He
either.
must have just spun a globe.
It was in the news because there's that really, truly great movie called The Battle of Algiers by Pontecorvo that really deserves to be up on the Mount Rushmore of movies. We should watch that next time. So I think that came out in 68 or 69, 67. I can't remember when it came out. So Algeria was always in the news just because there was war all the time in Algeria between the French.
Okay.
But I recommend Battle of Algiers if any of you are looking for something to watch. Really a truly great movie that opens a whole bunch of doors to naturalistic acting and to realistic acting and how movies can behave in front of an audience, where they don't have to behave like a play or like a comedy or like a drama. They don't have to behave in predictable ways. Movies are of their own, and they can behave any way you want them to. As
Is
long
that what
as
we're
it's-
doing for next time? I got to find a pen here.
Are we doing Battle of Algiers next?
Oh, I don't know. We haven't decided yet. Let's wait. I'm
Okay.
just recommending
Okay,
it now.
okay. We'll put it on the list though.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Molly, what's your ranking? Since we're ranking everything.
Oh, she's hesitating. That means she's not going to give it a 5.
Well,
I guess
was never
not.
I
getting a
mean, I
4.
might, because I do think that this is a movie that everyone should watch because it's a good movie. It's very well done, the acting, and just I'll give it a 5.
Yay.
What the heck?
All
Very
right.
nice
What
of
the
you. All
heck?
right.
Why not?
I'm going to call Sydney right now and tell him that Molly gave it a 5.
Do you have Sydney's number?
Yeah, right here.
Nice.
No.
That's Hollywood, baby.
Yeah. We all know each other, And do you want to talk about it? You've talked about it. You've sort of given your
I've interjected a few little tidbits, but I'd give the movie a 5 too. I think Al Pacino's acting was just superb. He just led an ensemble cast and just did a fantastic job with what might have been ridiculous material,
yeah.
but he pulled it off. He
Right.
pulled it off.
No, he pulled it. He made it very real. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
it's hard to sort of call it a comedy because he could have gone the comedic slapstick way,
Right.
and he didn't. But he also didn't go this is a slick heist movie
Right.
way, and that's
right.
Lumet and Pacino understanding each other and going the right way. There's
Yeah.
a funny thing in it that I thought of because I don't know when Midnight Cowboy was made.
Oh yeah.
Was it around this time? Probably it was the
I think
70s.
it's late 60s, maybe, 69, 70, something. Can you look?
But
Susan,
when
you seem to know
1969.
69.
69
You
Midnight
seem to
Cowboy.
know a
Okay,
lot
so
of,
it's a little
go
before
ahead.
this. But when Pacino's character Sonny is talking about Algiers and we'll go to a sunny climate and it'll be warm, it'll be nice. It reminded me of what Ratso Rizzo says about going to Florida
Oh
in
yeah.
Midnight Cowboy. So and Pacino and Hoffman, I don't know if they've ever worked together, but they have a very particular kind of relationship. There's an old story that I believe is probably true about Hoffman being stopped on the street and a guy saying, "Can I have your autograph?" And Hoffman says, "Oh, thank you very much." And he writes Dustin Hoffman, and the guy says, "No, no, no, you're Al Pacino. I want Al Pacino." And he says, "No, I'm not Al Pacino. I'm Dustin Hoffman." He says, "No, you're not. No, you're not. You're Al Pacino. Come on." And the end of the story is that Dustin Hoffman ends up signing Al Pacino's name just to get rid of the guy.
Well, I'll tell you, one of my favorite things is the movie Miss Congeniality,
Oh,
where she walks in front of the taxi and it slams on it. She does the I'm walking here. I'm walking here. That reminds me of Midnight Cowboy all the
Yeah.
time.
Well,
Yeah.
and
A line
did it
from
in
what I'm
number of
told
movies.
was improvised
Right.
by Hoffman.
Oh, yeah.
That movie's
Supposedly.
adorable. I love that
Yeah.
movie.
You hate
So
that
like
movie?
the real guy,
No, I love Miss Congeniality.
but like
Oh,
the
yeah.
real guy got out of prison and then I think he died a few years
60.
after.
Yeah. He
When
was
did he die?
60 when he died. 60 when he died. I don't know what year it was, but he was 60 years old. I think he died of cancer. And
Okay.
his wife Leon did get the sex change operation, but she died in like 82 from complications of AIDS.
Oh,
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. No kidding. You guys, you did do your research.
I
Where'd
tried
you,
to. I tried
where'd
to
you
be
find,
prepared.
where do you find all that stuff?
Wikipedia.
Yeah. Okay. That's what
I just
thought.
do Googles, do
Yeah.
Google searches, and I even found a picture of the wedding, the actual wedding of the real Sonny
On the real
and
Leon.
and the real Leon when he was dressed in drag, and he
Right.
was much taller than Sonny too. Yeah, he was much
Yeah.
that's
taller.
cool.
But Sonny wore his military uniform at the wedding.
That's so great. I mean, when he
Yeah,
says, when he's writing his will, I want a military funeral. I
military
deserve one.
funeral.
Yeah.
I deserve it.
I
Yep.
mean,
yeah,
it's a big part of it, and it was for anybody who went over there and did even one term or one tour or two tours or whatever.
yeah,
It was a
yeah.
huge part of their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And think about it, when the bank robbery actually happened in 72, 69 was when the Stonewall riots took place in New York. So
All right.
he might have been involved in some of the Stonewall movement. At least Leon might have been involved with it.
Yeah, Leon was
Um,
probably there. I can't picture Leon being an activist, but he would
no.
certainly be wherever the party was. And
Yes.
when
Yeah.
Stonewall happened, that's where the party was. It
Yeah. Yeah.
wasn't a fun party, but it was a party that got stuff done,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. New York in the 70s was a wild place to be gay. I mean,
Mhm.
because Stonewall had happened, but Stonewall didn't flip the switch.
No.
Stonewall just started
No.
showing the light on it. And
Yeah.
everybody, and I used to go over to the parade on Christopher Street, I guess on Halloween, the Stonewall Parade every year, and just phenomenal costumes and phenomenal people living their lives in public
Yeah.
for at least for a day or two.
Mhm.
And I guess it was called the Pride Parade. What's ironic about the Pride Parade now? I went to Pride Parades a couple of times when I was in Columbus, and I've been to them now. Corporations sponsor floats and
Mhm.
corporations, and in those days, if you worked at a corporation and were seen in the parade, you could lose your job.
Exactly.
Yep.
Wow.
Exactly.
Come a
So,
long way.
we've come a long way in some ways,
Mhm.
and we
Yeah.
haven't come very far in other ways.
And others. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're moving that way. So,
So
Susan,
what do you give it, Mark?
I
Did
give it a
Susan give
5,
her
a
rating?
full-on
She
5.
gave it a 5.
Oh, I gave it a 5. Yeah.
Yeah,
5
That's
across
5
the
across
board.
the board.
5
Wow.
across the board.
right. 4,
That's
5,
Mark,
wonderful.
you did
something like
good, William. You picked a good film.
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you know how it came up? Mark was talking about Sidney Lumet. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
I said, didn't he do Dog Day Afternoon? He goes, yes. I said, we should watch that
Watch
one.
that.
And
Yeah.
then that's
Yeah.
how it came out.
Yeah, why was I talking about Sidney Lumet? Was I talking about
I think
Your
another
brother, right?
Oh,
I
I
think
was
you were just
talking
talking about how he was your brother's favorite.
right. Yeah, whichever. Yeah, my brother makes sure everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But I think I was talking about watching, and I will see it again. But I also recommend it, Till the Devil Knows You're Dead, with Hoffman. I think it's called Till the Devil Knows You're Dead.
Yeah, I've seen that movie too, where his brother's
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke and they're gonna rob the parents' jewelry store.
Right. Yeah. I don't think
Yeah,
it's as
that's-
successful as Dog Day Afternoon is, I mean, it doesn't
It's a good
work
movie,
every
though.
minute of it, but it's a good movie, and it's a really good Sidney Lumet movie, and really tells you a lot about what he made the big blockbusters, didn't he? Make the one with Serpico is his,
Mhm.
Oh,
also with Al,
another Al.
and then he made Prince of the City with Treat Williams. He made sort of big, and look at the people in this. Look at how many extras there are in every scene. I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about what it takes to make a movie, and then you add onto that what it takes to make a movie in New York, on location in New York, not in the studio, but on location in New York, and then you think about how many lunches you got to get every day, and how many extras you got to pay. I mean, there's 250 cops in almost every shot when they're outside,
And the crowd with all the people that are just
and
like, this
along
is
with
the
the
most
crowd.
exciting
Yeah,
thing going on today. We're gonna come and
And the cops were on the fire escape. Didn't I tell you, get up on the roof? Get up on the roof.
right.
well, I'm just sitting there going, man, this bank robbery is just a spectator sport to them. It's like the highlight of their,
Oh yeah, but I mean, in
the
the summertime when it's too hot to do anything, and somebody throws a party in front of you in New York, that's what it's like. I mean, it's horrifying because they'll also watch I mean, it's true. I've seen people standing on ledges getting ready to jump, and seen people down below saying jump, 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 and having a party because they're going to watch this thing.
I think that would scar me for life if I saw something like that. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't see how you could tell someone to jump and I mean, I don't think I would want to see something like that.
no.
Oh,
Get the hell out of there as quick as possible.
right.
You'll never get that image out of your head.
I mean,
I'll
how
bet
can
you'd look. I bet you might get out of there as quick as possible, but I bet you'd look back over your shoulder
Right. Yeah.
because I mean it's a human impulse almost to look at. I mean, all the looky-loos at accidents. I mean, what's happening is there, but for the grace of whoever go I. And
I would hate to have that image burned in my memory.
yeah,
I
I
hate
know.
it.
I know.
But it's like Lot's wife looking back,
Right.
and she turns into a pillar of salt.
That's it. So what should we do next time, ladies and gentlemen? Does anybody have a movie they think everybody should see?
Tom, nobody?
I'm here to
Molly?
learn.
Well, Tom's still working on Weekend at Bernie's too.
no, I still need to get your address again so I can send you the
Oh yeah, haven't I given that to you? I'll send
Our
it to you.
copy.
You never read my emails, so
Yeah, way to
Why
go,
not?
Molly.
Well,
Way to piss them off.
you
Oh,
know,
come on, Molly. Read the emails.
I'm
Piss them
really
off so bad.
sorry.
Yeah, you had to publicly shame Molly.
Yeah.
That's how far it went.
my phone has not been notifying me of emails. I need to
technical
make more
difficulties.
fun.
I know.
If Mark was
That's
emailing
the
me,
great
I checked
advantage of iPhones
40
and all
seconds
this stuff is we can always blame it on.
This guy's a big
I know.
star.
I'm sorry.
He gives us
That's all
time
right.
to come here and talk about movies, Molly.
It's
The
not an
least you could
excuse.
do is respond.
check your email once a day.
Come on, Molly.
I'm sorry. I feel bad.
It's okay.
I'm a
I'm
terrible
sorry
person.
for publicly
Not a
shaming you.
terrible.
Especially
okay.
sorry that I put you out on public shame to the point where William piled on.
No, I saw the notification come through at work that you had commented, and then Tom texted me and he goes, "Mark's mad at you. You better email him."
Listen, I saw her look
Yeah,
at her phone.
I had to call you out on Facebook to get you to
Yep.
respond.
She looked at her phone, she yawned, and put it back in her pocket when she saw it.
When she saw the
Wow.
email.
Yeah.
Don't do me like that.
I'm
You know, Mark
kidding.
doesn't believe you.
No, of course not. Of course he doesn't believe me. I like to
So-
pile on. That's what I do.
So Tom's had his chance. Molly, do you have a movie that you think we should all watch and everybody should watch?
Gosh, I'll
Yes.
I'll think of one for next time.
Next
I don't
time,
have one off the
okay.
top of my head right now.
Susan, do you have a movie we
Uh,
should all watch?
I'm very new to this, and I wouldn't recommend
But you're obviously
anything.
not
I
new to
prefer.
movies. You know movies and like them.
Yeah, what's
Uh,
a movie that you?
Give
Sorry.
us
Well,
one
you
that
know, I
really
was
like.
thinking if you're talking about Sidney Lumet, maybe you might want to do a Hitchcock movie if you want to do another director's movie. I don't know if you've done anything.
We haven't
And-
done any Hitchcock, have we?
Mm-mm.
I would have a hard time. There's so many Hitchcock that are just so great. I would go back. It's hard for me to watch Vertigo because the special effects are so cornball.
Yeah.
What about
Every
Rear Window?
Rear Window is my favorite one. Is the
Mine
is the
too.
best
Really?
one. I also like To Catch a Thief, but mostly because Grace Kelly is so phenomenal in Rear Window, as is Jimmy Stewart, as is the whole movie. And To Catch a Thief is not nearly, doesn't measure up as a movie, but it's very good and it's a lot of fun. And it's Cary Grant and Grace Kelly, and one of the sexiest scenes with their clothes on that I think anybody's ever seen. When the fireworks are
Cary
going
Grant.
off in the back, I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh yeah.
But Hitchcock would be good. I was thinking I'd go back to 39 Steps or something like that. I just
Oh, yeah.
watched,
Some of his older work.
some of the older, earlier stuff. I just watched one. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'll think of it.
One of these days, I want to make Tom watch. Was it Charade or Charade?
Oh, Charade, that's Stanley
Charade.
Donen.
Charade.
Yeah.
Isn't that Audrey Hepburn too?
Audrey Hepburn and Cary Grant
Yeah.
and Walter Matthau.
I enjoy that movie.
Yeah.
Walter Matthau, I
It's
love
good.
that guy.
There's a great movie, another heist movie. If you want to go a different way on a heist movie and see a comedy, great movie called How to Steal a Million with Audrey Hepburn and Peter O'Toole, which is really good.
I have not seen that. I love Audrey Hepburn.
I have not seen that either.
I like Peter O'Toole.
And Peter O'Toole. Peter O'Toole's hysterical in it. They're both very funny.
Well, let's do that one, a comedy. I'd love that.
Okay, we
Yeah,
could do that.
they're robbing the Louvre, and it's funny and it's humane, it's human, and
Excellent.
it's really good, and it's got a great soundtrack. Great
How
What's
to-
it called?
All right, let's do
Steal
How
a
to Steal a
Million?
Million.
How to Steal a
How to Steal
Million.
a Million.
Yeah, especially if none of you have seen it, that'd be a good.
I have
chance
not
to see
seen it.